At 53 on a Tuesday in May, a woman discovered a curious display. An office had opened inside of her head, with carpets and cabinets and forms to be read. The workers had settled there years ago. Who hired them first? She could not quite know. They came without knocking, they stayed without rent. And somehow, each month, it was she who was spent. There was Mr. What If in a sensible tie, who predicted disaster whenever clouds passed by. He studied each silence, each cough, and each call, then announced, "By next Thursday, we may lose it all." He had charts about money and charts about health, and a chart about losing one's dignity and stealth. He had graphs marked unlikely and hard to explain, and filed every drizzle as probable rain. Then came Miss Should've, with glasses on chains, who specialized mainly in old little pains. She replayed conversations from 1992 and said, "Here are 12 things you should never quite do. You should have said less, you should have said more. You should not have smiled when you walked through that door." That woman looked oddly. That cousin seemed cross. "I suggest we spend Tuesday examining the loss." Besides her sat Mrs. What will they say? Who arrived before breakfast and worked through the day. She measured each outfit, each pause, and each glance, and treated an opinion as national finance. If you go, they will notice. If not, they will talk. If you drive, they may judge. If you stay, they may gawk. We're blue and you're trying. We're gray and you've quit. I have 17 folders devoted to it. There was young little Later who never seemed old, though he'd worked there since fax machines first had been sold. He promised that matters would soon settle down. Just after this crisis, this season, this town. We'll rest when it's sorted. We'll breathe when it's done. We'll begin when the planets agree with the sun. We'll decide what we want when the whole world is clear. He had been saying this for the past 30 years. In the corner sat Captain Prepare for the Worst, who believed every blessing was probably cursed. He carried umbrellas through sun without end, and distrusted good news when it came from a friend. If things are too quiet, that's cause for alarm. If someone is kind, they may mean you some harm. If nothing goes wrong, so do not loosen your grip. The iceberg is safest when watched from the ship. And pale Mr. Not Quite had permanent space, with a small disapproving expressionless face. He inspected her body, her choices, her skin, and found that improvement should always begin. Your waist could be smaller, your posture more straight, your answers more clever, your timing less late. Your life would look lovely, he'd solemnly say, if you were a different young woman each day. One morning, the woman looked over their bills. There were charges for tension and charges for chills, for nights spent awake and for jaws clenched till dawn, for whole afternoons that had quietly gone. She paid them in sleep, she paid them in peace. Their rates had gone up and their hours would increase. They charged her for problems that never took place, then demanded a bonus for studying her face. He stared at the ledger. She stared at the crew. Then she asked a small question that nobody knew. "And what," said the woman, "has all of this cost? What work have you finished? What danger was lost?" Mr. What If stood up with a cough and a chart. Miss Should Have said, "Hindsight was more of an art." Mrs. What Will They Say said, "Appearances count." But none could explain the alarming amount. "Who asked for this meeting?" cried Captain Worst Case. "Why, you did," said the woman, and looked at his face. "You call one each morning, you call one each night, yet nothing you do ever makes anything right." There was shuffling of papers, a loosening of ties. Miss Should Have removed both her glasses and lies. Young Little Later said, "Surely next year." She replied, "You've said that since I first found you here." Then she opened a window. She pointed outside. "You may leave through the door. It is perfectly wide. Your contracts are finished. Your service is through. I have paid quite enough for the work that you do." Mr. What If protested, "But what if you fall?" "Well," she said, "then I fall. That is all. That is all." Mrs. What Will They Say whispered, "People will stare." "Then they'll have," said the woman, "fresh reasons to care." Miss Should Have asked softly, "What of your mistakes?" "They belong to the road every living heart takes." Captain Worst Case saluted, then reached for his hat. She said, "Thank you for nothing. You're excellent at that." Mr. Not Quite stayed seated. He straightened his coat. He prepared one last, deeply unflattering note. She took it, then folded the paper into four and said, "You may judge me from outside the door." The office grew quiet. The carpet stayed plain. A soft little shower came down on the pane. No orchestra swelled, no great miracle came. The woman went on being mostly the same. Her knees still complained when she climbed up the stairs. Some mornings produced an astonishing hair. Her questions remained, and her future did too. But neither required a management crew. And now, when a worry arrives with a file, she offers it tea and allows it a while. She listens politely, then asks it to show if it knows something useful or simply won't go. If useful, she acts. If not, there's the door. She's funding that office precisely no more. For a woman past 50 has earned, it appears, the right to stop paying her wages to fears.